Let me clear the first point on the most misleading aspect of serverless. Serverless computing still requires servers. Actually, the name is totally confusing. Here, serverless is about no maintenance and it is more about macro functionality. Hey guys, welcome to the Stuff Developer Should Know podcast. Hey guys, welcome to the new episode, and in this episode I'm gonna share about the serverless architecture. Let's see what all things I'm gonna cover in this episode. We will start with what exactly is serverless architecture. Then we will see who all are the service provider and who all are the using this serverless architecture in their applications. Later we can go through what all benefits or takeaways from serverless architecture, and finally we will cover the use cases you can consider for your application. So let's begin. Let's understand first what exactly is serverless architecture. Does it mean there are no servers? And what does it mean for a developer? See, let me clear the first point on the most misleading aspect of serverless. Serverless computing still requires servers. Actually, the name is totally confusing. Here, serverless is about no maintenance and it is more about macro functionality. In this, typically, it hosts application that significantly or fully incorporates third-party cloud-hosted application or services to manage server-side logic. See, a serverless architecture is a way to run application and services without having to manage infrastructure. This means your application still runs on server, but all the server management tasks like the setup, capacity planning, scaling, and server management is handled by the cloud provider. We're gonna cover who all are the cloud provider who are giving the services for serverless architecture. The basic concept for a developer is like we get rid of the need to manage the server uptime, server maintenance, upgrades, security vulnerabilities, patches, etc. The only thing a developer need to be aware of and focus is on the code. That's it. Here things should be event driven, meaning one have to design it with the idea that if nobody is using it, then nothing is running. Because the concept here is like the server resources are triggered on some event and we need to pay for those things, for those resource utilization. So we need to design our application accordingly. Let's understand first the relation between the serverless, cloud computing and microservices. If you want to learn more about the microservices, you can listen to my previous episode on this podcast. See, serverless is a cloud computing execution model where the cloud provider dynamically manages the allocation and provisioning of the server based on its resource utilization and the configuration. The serverless is a subset of cloud, you can say. It's a way of building and deploying cloud application. And when serverless architecture is started, first approach is to design microservices. Things are related with each other. The approach is to build a series of services that then scale separately from each other with a serverless backend. Right? So see how things are related. And the serverless is more granular than microservices and provides much higher degree of functionality. Now let's move to next point. Who all are the service provider? Who all are the cloud service provider for this? See, for serverless architecture, there are two main aspects: the backend as a service and function as a service. And these services are provided by major cloud service providers. You may have heard of these like AWS provided the Lambda services, the Google Cloud, the Google Cloud function, Microsoft Azure function, Auth0, Kubeblaze, and there are many more, like provided by IBM and Oracle. Now, let's see who all major GANs are using the serverless technology. See, serverless is already used in production by companies like Netflix, Reuters, CodePen, AOL, Telenor, and many other GANs. So it's even evolving, and people are understanding the better use cases for their business applications. All right. In short, the serverless architecture is outsourcing solution, allowing you to pay someone else to manage your servers, database, and even application logic that you might manage yourself otherwise. Obviously, it is not simpler to migrate to serverless architecture because you need to rely on other things, in this case of serverless framework, like session management, ORM, middleware, etc. We need to rewrite a whole bunch of services and functionalities and use libraries or external dependencies provided by them. So do consider these scenarios, alright? Okay, so let's see the benefits you can consider for why serverless architecture. So the first one is productivity. It's for developers. See, developers can focus on their core product instead of worrying about managing and operating servers or runtimes. This reduces overhead. Let developers reclaim time and energy that can be spent on developing great products, right? The next benefit is scaling. Application can be scaled automatically or by adjusting its capacity through threshold value based on the units of consumption. See, here rather than considering the whole units or individual servers, here the capacities, how you have used the throughput or memory for execution of particular service, and you need to pay for consistent throughput or execution duration rather than the whole server unit. No need to worry about the number of concurrent requests. Next, the third benefit is the availability. Here we don't need to worry about the capabilities or need to architect things. This is automated at provider end, so we don't need to worry about it. They provide built-in availability and fault tolerance for different services. And the fourth benefit, the most important, is consider now pay on use. It costs you nothing to run if nobody is using it. This is the main benefit considered for serverless architecture. Obviously, excluding data or the data storage cost. See, it reduces operation costs in terms of infrastructure and operation. The total cost is based on the number of function execution. These are measured in milliseconds instead of hours. Okay. The next fifth benefit is agility. See, smaller deployable units result in faster delivery of features. So this is how possible and simpler with use of microservices and serverless architecture together. See, this increases the ability to adopt the change, adding new features to the application rather than impacting the whole application package. Alright, so these are the benefits of using. Now let's see what are the serverless architecture use cases. See, main the benefit, the booming technology, the machine learning. We can package it as a function and call it as and when we need it, right? We can have automated backups for everyday tasks, like creating backups, checking for idle resources, generating reports, and other daily basis tasks we can have it packaged on serverless. See, which these frequently occur and implemented in no time. Next, we can consider as image or video conversion. Say you have a use case of say process image or video file when it gets saved on S3, right? So when you get S3 object event notification, you can just start any your business or apply any business logic. And we can consider the batch jobs, like trigger and run batch jobs, and use resources whenever required and scale based on the processing on the fly. We can have mobile backends or IoT, like processing different messages or data from devices or sensors, right? We can consider the chatbots. We can have a single chatbot available or can be scaled based on the request. Also, we can consider the HTTP APIs or integration, like if you have a website, we can have a serve application logic from APIs. Also, the use case, you can say the mass email or notifications, right? So these are the few use cases you can consider for serverless architecture, right? There are plenty of more being used by different business applications. So that's it about today's episode, guys. Hope you liked it. See you on next episode with some new and interesting stuff. Please do share with people with developer community, help people grow. Till then, happy learning. Take care.